are requiring the last tank, so definitely they're waiting to pick the Forza hero. Yeah. Yeah. I would say that Kufra here is pretty alright. You can block the Hayabusa with your bouncing ball.
But they have a Popol though on the opponent side.
You know what? Forza can do it.
Oh, wow, this is a very different element that I'm hearing for you.
But no.
Joe, I can be drafter now. It does seem like we have the final lineup coming in from the side of Impunity as well as Kingsmen. So, Cho, within my expectations when it comes to echoing the same vibes of moving around together with Benedetta as well as the Fasa, it's very nice to see that. But we shouldn't be looking at a lot of movement by Bharat himself as well as Alice. I mean, yes, Alice can kind of do a little bit here and there, but maybe not in the most comfortable way.
Yeah. I look at Infinity SG, they are actually getting a lot of meta heroes. That really puts them at a very comfortable spot. But maybe KGM with Kingsmen can actually have a plan to fight out against this lineup that Infinity SG put out.
Well, I am very well invested into this game already as we present to you Impunity versus Kingsmen. Match number 2, game number 1. And featuring the members from Impunity, we do have Reminiscent that is going to be playing onto that Hayabusa. Take away onto that Popol and Koopa. Oh my Roy rocking that giant sword onto Lapu Lapu. Miku Mikumi, the Umbrella Woman, Kagura. And finally, Rum, the boxer, Paquito.
Yeah, as we can look from the Kingsman side, Benedetta is currently facing against the Lapu.
Oh.
You know what?
Bharat's jungle.
Yeah, Bharat's jungle. I would say that all the lanes is pretty much even except for the lane that Paquito is laning against, which is Alice. Alice will have, you know what? I will not die, but they will lose out rotations to Paquito, especially in the early game. That really puts me in a tight spot, especially at the mid left side, because of how Paquito can actually clear the wave and then rotates over to mid and get some kills at the mid.
So this kind of seems like what Kingsman is doing. Instead of putting a Benedetta onto the Hyper so that they can roam even more, they are intending to pump up the aggression by having one more head onto their side of the rotation, because Benedetta with the lane push potential, he can go around the place a lot easier than a Bharat could. But in the meantime, the Detonat's Welcome is not going to connect. Odia Bambi with a sliver of health goes down to the hands of Reminiscent as he sucks a shadow kill, connects a couple of shots and slashes on top of him. And Kingsman has lost the single shot. I did kind of say like Odia Bambi gets the first blood, I didn't say that he's the one that takes it.
I said J though, but you know what? Let's just put that aside, and their first turtle is small. None of the team is trying to contest that first turtle. It seems like Impunity is trying to pressure this Alice so that in the future this Alice will not grow as fat as it will be. A little big pokes here and there with the Paquito dealing a little bit of damage, and shadow kill!
Oh! Ramaram still gonna go down. Azura X pops off with the Bloodode as well. And that is going to help Azura X stay alive for a longer period of time. But unfortunately for the side of Impunity, they did not manage to get what they wanted. I really appreciated that takeaway. Tries to go for the current dive together with Rum, but who would have thought that Azura X would be able to stay alive from all of that?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Azura X to be the one killing a member from
the power of flowing blood, right?
Whoa, Alice.
Alice. We always talk about the fact that Alice is not good in early game. Ta-da!
Well, you know what?
I mean, to be fair, Forza was there.
Yeah, to be fair, Forza is there. So, Kingsman managed to get that first turtle. Bambi got that. I really want to talk a little bit about Bambi's hero, Bharat.
Let's talk.
Yeah, I think these Bharats right here is not really going to get any Daytona's Welcome successful unless you get a setup from your team, which is that Way of Dragon coming from Forza. Otherwise, there's no easy Daytona's Welcome. Everyone can just flicker away like Lapu. There's Immunity as well. There's Popo with the flicker.
There's Reminiscent with
that shadow. Yeah. Kagura. Oh my god.
He even has Rushu Umbrella Flea. Rum can just easily use his shoulder jab to kind of get himself away. So let's be honest, the 1-2 punch is how Rum can get himself away. So you're right, Detona's Welcome, he shouldn't be relying on that very often. So they should be looking at a constant 5v5 instead of constantly eliminating that 4v5 all the time.
Yeah, seems like Forza is getting poked a little bit. With that, did not welcome. Nope.
Not too sure. Just Forza did manage to get a really nice little kick right on top of Reminiscent just to ensure that he don't get free shots on top of his head. The shurikens is just not enough to decapitate him just yet. As Impunity, they are playing quite aggressively, and I really like that, you know. Where there are times that we have seen teams, you know, cower in fear of Kingsmen because of the high-profile players of that, and that is something that I actually would see from Almighty. They will probably play a turtling threat. That is part of their game plan. They don't want to play aggressively against Kingsmen. But Impunity, boy oh boy, that Ember is growing larger and larger.
And we can see from Takeaway, he actually bought 3 cloaks. And Way of Dragon coming from 4 down to the so and yep, he'll finish it off. And Kingsmen get that second total lead.
Completely caught out by Rum. And this is very similar to the games from RSG, whereby they will always get a single kill before the turtle even happened. But now, Chu, with the Electro final blow, he did manage to zone quite a number of members from the Sun Impunity while they focus down onto the purple buff, allowing Kingsmen to walk away with the purple buff onto Odia Bambi. So all is good. Impunity's Reminiscent would not be able to see himself with the purple buff. Very unfortunate, unless they decide to play a little bit of counter jungling onto the opponent's purple.
Oh my. Even though Daytona's welcome is not really utilized at all, but
it got some tankiness.
It is a threat to Impunity SG. It forced Impunity SG to use those mobility skills or even flicker. That's the purpose of this right at this stage.
Well, if you ask me, that is massive value, right? Because Daytona's welcome, what, the cooldown is what, 20 seconds or something along the lines?
Around 30 with that purple buff, so yeah.
And then Flicker's cooldown is like what, 90 seconds? So honestly, you can just keep on recycling it, just keep on cycling across different players. We've got a nice Flicker from Oh My Roy, that is, sorry, not 90 seconds, it's 120 seconds.
Yep, it's 2 minutes.
Yep, so it's even worse. So I'm looking forward to see what Kingsmen have got to do against Impunity. Chu playing a little bit more aggressively on the side of Ramaram, but not that aggressively to the point that he would want to cut waves and proxy. So he's going to be caught out in his lane a little bit more often, but luckily the top lane first tier turret is down, so he can move around if he wants to and head his way to the middle lane, because you can pretty much see that most of the members from the side of Kingsmen, all 4 of them have converged together in order to steal away the purple buff, as they even popped right out with a feathered airstrike. Focuses down on the purple, and that is an easy take, no contest. Kingsmen is just doing their absolute best to just suffocate Impunity from all the farm, even if the first tier defense turret in the middle lane is still alive.
Yeah, Kingsman getting the purple buff for Odia Bambi is actually very good. When the purple buff from their side is spawned, it will give up to Alice. And when Alice has a purple buff, oh boy.
Enchanted Talisman? Who needs that?
You know what, I'll take my jungle's purple buff and I'll win with it. That's their game plan for Kingsmen. But for Impunity SG, most likely they are trying to make this Hayabusa split push a little bit, get some gold. Oh, a little bit poked here and there. Way of Dragon being used now.
Forza tries to get himself away. Nice jumbo, but unfortunately, it is going to be his success shadow kill that will be able to get a kill down on the Forza. Jay popped off with the feathered airstrike and rains our artillery onto Oh My Roy. No more frontline sustainability from the side of Oh My Roy, but both sides will now exit and try to get himself right out of the danger, while Jay is still aggressively pushing it. Odia Bambi casts the wave, tries to go for the Detona's welcome, but take away, has expanded the flicker more than enough in order to use it, especially what you said. Just use the flicker, get away from Detona's welcome, and that is going to be on cooldown.
Yeah, but that's the good thing about Bambi, right? He's just forcing you to use the flicker, and then, you know what, I'm going to use my Detona's welcome onto the next person that uses that flicker. Or if you have no flicker, you know what, I'm going to eat you up.
A good setup for the next fight. So they know in the next 1 to 20 seconds, Takeaway would not be able to get a flicker. And this is where he's gonna go down! Odia Bambi immediately getting himself a double kill right to the head, and Forza with amazing positioning kicks Reminiscent right in the face of Odia Bambi and allows Kingsmen to get yet another kill for themselves. And now with 3 heads all rolling across the ground, Odia Bambi forces his initiative a little bit more as Benedetta goes around slashing away EI onto the second tier defense turret, and now Impunity is now forced to stay inside of the base because there is just absolutely no way that they can defend the second tier turret from the extreme ends of the lane.
Yeah, Kingsmen putting out a good fight. Oh, and
Being
as
caught right
I
out.
was facing them, they got picked off.
And Forza is probably going to be the next one. Yes, he will go down. Impunity has found himself a small little breathing space. Almost getting a kill down. Miku. Oh, Azura X wasn't able to use the Blood Oath right in the nick of time. Unfortunately, being caught out by Oh My Roy as well. Odil Babby left alone, soloing up onto Oh My Roy. Bomb, boom, and gets the kill.
Wow.
Very easily onto Oh My Roy. A little bit of a brain plays from the side of Odil Babby. And despite Kingsmen losing 2, Kingsmen managed to tally it out and try to put it on par. Reminiscent and Oh My Roy takes the cake.
Now let's take a look at the item build. Wow, Kingsman is doing the slot. I don't think there will be any contest there, even though Pakito is near there. But let's take a look at the item build. I guess everything is pretty much the same apart from Forza going for full armor build. Ooh. I guess he don't show any respect towards that Kagura, right? After all.
Yeah, where is the magical defense? I mean, you don't need it. Kagura? What magical damage? What magical damage? I just need to kick.
Alright, I think that apart, or Alice is pretty much fat and settled. Apart from not having that Winter Truncheon, though I feel that maybe Winter Truncheon should be more important at this stage now. With that item, it seems like he's still not going for the Winter Truncheon.
Lightning Truncheon?
Maybe Bloodwing.
Really?
Maybe.
Maybe. We shall see how that's gonna work out. But the Lord is now also gonna be marching down to the bottom lane. Reminiscent. Sword out strike. More than enough from Chu to bring Reminiscent out. Not too sure what he was doing. Maybe he thinks that he is he's very slippery as the Hayabusa. But hey, you're facing off against a Benedetta after all with great amount of mobility. In the meantime, it is going to be a push right down in the middle lane. We do have Chu trying to go straight in. Force out with the Chikundo. Unfortunately, wasn't able to catch one out. But unfortunately, the wild strike coming in from the side of Pakito. He did manage to deal a decent amount of damage on the side of Chu. And the rest of the members from Kingsmen, they are all cuddled together, converged together with a sliver of health. Forza, as well as Chu, slips away while Odia Bambi goes down. It is going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but the massive amount of damage from Mikumi as well as Ram is more than enough to work on the wombo combo Unga Bunga.
So welcome to the quick hydrations on how this fight goes out. Forza almost get the Way of Dragon onto that Popo, but unfortunately everyone just clumps into that fight. That really puts all of them at a very tough spot, especially there's a Yin Yang overturn from Mikumi, and none of them really buys like magic defense item to like block Miku's melee damage.
Yeah, so I think for Kagura at least, it's gonna have a pretty good time. We should be seeing some snipes from his flame shot sometime soon.
We shall see about the snipes, but at the moment, you know what, it's gonna be a peaceful game. So let me talk a little bit about how the game is gonna go out. And I think the Hayabusa on Reminiscent is just gonna go to side lanes and try to get split push. Mid is gonna be prioritized by Kagura as well as the Popo. They're gonna play that total lane until they get a pick off. I believe that Kingsman is gonna get a pick off through Forza, but they may not go and force it because the lot is spawning in 1 minute plus. And when that happens, they will just take the lot with that luminous slot, they will just push in from there. So no involved in Flicker. Flicker will be safe when the luminous slot push into the in-hit turrets, and that is where we'll get that final engage. But meanwhile, Impunity AG requires to do some recycling of killing before they can actually pick up that fight.
Yeah, I mean, at this moment in time, it is fair and safe to say that Impunity is doing pretty well when it comes to defending themselves. Because, let's be honest, if you're able to get yourself to 13 minutes and even above, that means that you are doing decently well in defending and not allow your opponents to wipe you right down sub 10 minutes. Because you wouldn't want to be taken down under 10 minutes. Because that pretty much means that you made mistakes. And like phenomenal mistakes whereby you enhance the lead, or rather you spread out the lead so much whereby you can just be stomped on. So Impunity, whenever they are still in the game, they still have a fighting chance.
At this stage, the fighting chance is pretty high because of how the Kagura will be actually very strong in the late game. But there's Azura X and Fasa though. on Jay's ex-Kingsman side. Those are some heavy, big damage coming alongside.
And now, with the Lord available for the picking over to Kingsmen, they do have the map control. Impunity just slowly scrolling their way. They definitely know that someone is in the Lord pit. They try to pick up Jay as much as possible. Forza almost came into the vicinity of Jay, but
ooh, frame shot being used, but it's not sniped out. And looks like Kingsman is doing a little bit poke here and there, but no contest will be done, and they shall wait for the next lot so that they'll push in with the lot.
it's gonna be a simple Lord as he pushes down middle. Top lane and the bottom lane just needs to be. Oh wait, mid. Okay.
Bottom.
Oh yeah, the health of the turret in the bottom lane is way lower, and thus synchronizing in the middle lane and the top lane will be an easier deed. While Hayabusa
Ooh.
stuck that the Lord in between, making sure that it never gets in and it doesn't push in time. But Kingsmen, they don't care.
Look at Forza.
Yeah, they really don't care, because now we've got Jay that's just trying to go for a single shot from the side of the artillery barrage. It didn't really quite land. He does have the ultimate that is going to be on cooldown this moment in time. Impunity, they don't want anything to do with Kingsmen. They're doing what they can to defend, while Hayabusa pushes down to the bottom lane, forcing the recall from Benedetta. I think that was a pretty good push from the side of Kingsmen, and that is also a good counter push from the side of Reminiscent, forcing Kingsmen to kind of stop what they were doing, put it on hold, and wait again.
That lot is not utilized at all because the lot was denied by the Hayabusa.
Yep.
That really leaves that second lot not really utilized, even though they get the mid in hip turret, but it's not going to be enough because if they are able to push in with that Luminous slot, it could at least pick up 2 in hip turrets. But now they are left with, you know, they still have 2 in hip turrets for Impunity side, unless Forza is going to make some play with that Way of the Dragon.
Yeah, but Impunity now, they can't take a fight. They really cannot take a fight, because once they take a fight and they loses, then that is going to be the end of game number 1. But Kingsmen is not going to make it easy for Impunity to not go for a fight, because they tried to go for bottom lane. They managed to take down the inhibitor turret, and they're trying to bank it all into the top inhibitor turret as well, even though they don't have the Lord. So you can see Kingsmen is starting to get a little bit desperate, or maybe you would say that they are starting to get very confident because of the amount of gold lead that they have. So playing it bold is something that is within of their game plan.
For Kingsmen, they're just playing the sieging, I'm just going to take your towers if you don't want to force any fight with me. Yeah, and another Detonator is used by Bambi to actually negate 1 flicker from takeaway.
It's now all about the poking potential that Impunity has. We do have the Feather Aspect, they're just going to be popped right out onto the side of Impunity, but unfortunately, oh my Roy is right in the heart of the enemy. He's trying to go for the sustainability factor, but unfortunately, we do have Azura X flickers right into his face. He is going to be popping the flowing blood and manages to even have the Winter Truncheon flickers himself, or rather, going to use the blood to right himself in front of Miku Me, but he himself holds down the back lines, while the rest of Kingsmen hold themselves onto the front lines, and that is more than enough. But if he flickers over to me, that's a little bit different.
Okay, so here you guys go. The Benedetta main has picked for himself, and Kingsman has picked that last hero, Kagura. I believe that Kagura will be actually pretty strong.
Wow.
And
Very
they
offensive base.
are still flexing so much. Apart from the Benedetta going towards the Chu, which is most likely the EXP lane, that Kagura and Beatrix can be still interswapped depending on how they determine which heroes are good against, Impunity SG's hero.
Isn't Kingsman lineup very similar to an all-strike meta that we have seen before in, I think, MPL Indonesia last season? Like all-strike. All they gotta do is just damage all across the place. Because right now, Kingsman lineup is literally damage overload. They don't have someone that can really peel very well. They just go in, deal damage, poke, and heal everyone before anything happens.
But they really need those resources, they need those forms, and when that happens, the opponent side has a Jawhead and a Kaja, it really disables a lot of your core. So right now for Kingsmen is to just split the resource evenly so that when the Kaja uses that Divine Judgment onto one of the core, it still has damage output apart from that.
It's kind of greedy, isn't it?
I would say that it's like a plan A, plan B and plan C. So I would say that like maybe Ling is plan A. So on and so forth.
We shall take a look at how the game is going to be like as we introduce the players coming in. From the side of Impunity, we do have Oh My Roy going to be rocking onto Red Riding Hood Ruby. Take away onto the Jawhead. Miku flying around as the Fasa. Reminiscent. Little bit of a... I don't know what kind of person he is, but one thing for sure, he is on guard. And Rum onto the bird form, Kaja.
As we can see, Impunity SG, Oh My Roy with the Ruby is getting pressured by 3 men, but nothing is gonna happen.
Kingsmen, they're not gonna let Impunity have their own fun because they're a very aggressive lineup, and I believe that that is what they are gonna go for. So speaking of aggressive, let's take a look at what Kingsmen have got in their arsenal. With Chu playing onto the Benedetta, does seem like he'll be fighting against the Ruby up in the top lane. Jay will be onto the Beatrix that is gonna be anchoring down in the middle lane. Odia Bambi rotating around as the Link.
Top lane.
Pretty happy about just literally moving from places to places, no problems whatsoever. While Fossa onto the Martyrs, which KZP has talked about before, just kind of roaming about, and Azura X holding himself down in the bottom lane as the Kagura. Odia Bambi though, he did find himself being whittled down to a critical amount of health, but it's not enough for Impunity to eventually take him down.
But it's enough for him to use the Tempest of Blade, and then Impunity SG will have the advantage of the free turtle. And when that happens, you know what, they are gonna just focus on the other lane. But right now, Kaja seems to be at a very bad spot with 3 members from Kingsmen at bottom lane.
Yeah, I believe that what Kingsmen would want to do is try to bring down this turret as fast as possible, and it's really dependent and reliant on how Impunity decides to play around this and what is going to be their answer. Top lane, a little bit of skirmish. I wouldn't be expecting anyone to go down, but with Alucard as well as Fasa being real close down in the bottom lane, I would assume that a fight will break out real soon. That is if Impunity has decided to kind of make some moves and open up the map as to looking at where the rest of the members from Kingsmen is. But nothing else is happening. We don't have the creep waves pushing down to the bottom lane, and thus the roamers, when it comes to Beatrix as well as the Martyrs, have decided to just kind of move themselves away and play in a slightly more defensive positioning.
Right, and even though that go gap, there isn't any difference, but at this stage, Kingsmen is actually have a slight advantage because of how they are all skilling heroes. When they are able to scale towards their power spike, they will be able to deal out heavy damage to Impunity SG.
As now Chu proxied the lane in the top lane, it allows him to be a little bit more mobile, but it does seem Reminiscent is just going to be coming in between, cuck him right out, send the Benedetta right into the face of Oh My Roy, and allows Impunity, brings him down. Unfortunately, his proxying was a little bit too aggressive without kind of communicating with the rest of the, his lineup. Oh, the Bambi going down as well to the hands of Rum. Now, this is kind of like the issue, all right? I can kind of see Chu in, I can kind of see like myself in Chu's shoes, like proxying the lane, and then suddenly a random person just comes right out because I don't really have information as to where the rest of the members from Impunities are, and once I get away from proxying the lane, I die.
Right, at this stage, they're just trying to get that bounty goal. Since Kingsmen right now is also scaling, they're just trying to get as much gold as possible. But look at the top lane, they already managed to get the tier 1 turret from Impunity SG. And right now, Kingsmen is going a little bit greedy by getting that turtle.
Not too sure whether that is going to be the way to go, but it is uncontested. Impunity is not quite interested in contesting the turtle. A little bit questioning. I'm not too sure why. Kingsmen's lineup, as I mentioned, is a little bit greedy on their part, and I would expect that their power spike will come in the later stages of the game, maybe right about 10 to 12 minutes, and that is where Kingsmen will start to see a spike. So Impunity, with a great lead of 2 kills, as well as a couple of 500 gold, they can do something. They should do something, but they're not exactly aggressing themselves against Kingsmen. Perhaps the poke potential from Kingsmen is stopping Impunity right now.
Yeah, and it seems like Alucard is avoiding the fight. Reminiscent with the Alucard is trying to get that top tier 2 turret as well as that orange buff.
Going for siege.
Yeah, but
That's not what I was expecting.
he's not participating in the fight. That should be what Link should be doing, avoiding the fights and take up a lot of farms. But
He should be the one fighting,
yep,
and he shouldn't be the one rushing for sieges.
exactly. So I'm a little bit confused, but Odiabembe got forced to use that Tempest of Blade, and right now, you know what? The orange buff from Impunity SG is safe.
Sieging, ladies and gentlemen. Impunity is going for that. In the meantime, Jay does seem like he's got caught, as well as the fact that Azura X was in a precarious positioning. We do have Oh My Roy that almost set himself in a really nice position in order to set up a giant fight for his battle team. But unfortunately, Kingsmen, they've got some pretty good escape mechanisms. Coming from Jay with a flicker, coming from Azura X with the Rashu Umbrella Flea as well. So it's pretty unfortunate that the 2% that he almost caught have that kind of escape mechanism.
Yeah, and as you can look at Kingsman's side, they are actually trying to covering around the turtle side. Seems like they are forcing a little bit of rotations towards the top lane before Link actually manages to get to the turtle side.
It doesn't make sense. Impunity should be challenging.
Exactly, Impunity, Alucard should be going for it, but still getting a little bit poked here and there with Jawhead, trying to get some pokes. I feel that Ram should get a Divine Judgment right now to make the game.
Oh yeah, we haven't used it yet.
Yes.
It's really unfortunate, but one thing that's unfortunate is Mikumi popping in the ultimate only for him to immediately stop that right out. Forza decided to move himself round on Reminiscent, is trying to go for a 1-for-1 fight. We've got a Testament, of Blade being activated right on top of Reminiscent, but unfortunately he finds himself absolutely shoved right into the air by Takeaway. It's going to be a 1-for-2 trade, and Impunity has found himself in the favorable position. And because of this fight, I think that the small little embers from Impunity would have lighted up just by a little bit, and they would want to play it aggressively a bit more. Because we have seen Reminiscent dealing a good bulk amount of damage onto the back lines of Kingsmen. He knows what he can do, and that is kind of like his point whereby he's just kind of testing the waters. And now that he's tested enough, I think that Impunity could go aggressive here.
The game is even for both sides. Kingsman actually had a very good engage right there until Ram with that Divine Judgment flicker onto the Link after the Link uses that Tempest of Blade. That is a pretty patient Kaja, I would say.
That is all what you're gonna have to see from a Kaja, right? Just stay behind, wait for the top priority hero, and then go for the Divine Judgment. And once you single that out, once that person's dead, you know that you are in a 4v5 fight. Because that is kind of like the whole reason why a Kaja would be very effective. You would want to bring one person down before a fight happens, or maybe even during a fight happens, without any of your members suffering any points damage. Because once you go for the Divine Judgment, you're basically telling your whole team, guys, aim this guy. And not a lot of other heroes does that.
And we can see that Odiabambi with the Link is trying to get up their farm as much as possible. Most likely he's going to wait for one more item before he go for the fight. He has already has that War Axe as well as the Demon Hunter Sword. But at this stage, Alucard is at his powers. But look at that damage!
Just from a single sword slash from his skill 1. And boom goes Forza. I mean, not dead, but a chunk of health, a chunk of meat was just taken off of him.
Yep, and we can see that Infinity SG is forcing the first slot. But there will not have any contest, but Tempest of Blade being used by Link, and that's it.
Run away. Run away, boys, from Impunity. They're not too afraid, you know. I like the contest that they did there. I like what they did. They managed to run away before anything terrible happens. So this is what we should be looking at, you know.
Since this is the first lot, it's not going to make a very big changes unless Infinity SG with that Jawhead ejector or Ruby's I'm Offender going to make some play. Otherwise, you know what, let's just say that some of the outer turrets from Kingsman's side will be taken out, but that's not to worry about.
Very confusing play. Reminiscent as well as Takeaway, they tried to be hyper-aggressive onto Kingsmen. Kingsmen decided to retreat instead of fighting back. Not too sure, I'm not a pro player. 2v3 kind of seems like 3 have the advantage, but I'll say that Kingsmen, oh, really? Really? Take away! Really taking away one health and one man just like that. Reminiscent in the 1v2. The Nibiru's passion unleashes onto Reminiscent, but it doesn't seem like it bothered him at all. And now the Lord is marching down in the top lane. We've got Chu trying to defend down in the bottom. No problem, easy peasy. But middle lane is where things are starting to get a little bit tough. Reminiscent, Vision Wave, tries to pull Chu in and tries to bring him out. And unfortunately, a little bit of a movement side from Chu. He gets himself away pretty nicely.
Yeah, that takeaway with that flicker ejector managed to land on the link, followed up by the Divine Judgment from Rum like, hey, I'm waiting for your Divine Judgment, and here we go.
And oh my Roy tries to get himself away, but unfortunately takeaway, he's currently in the midst of all of the battle. Mikumi from behind unleashes the feather. Doesn't really care about everyone, but the Kingsmen, all of them just huddling together. HP taken down. Rum slays him down. They're focusing down onto the bottom lane inhibitor turret with 3 men taken down from the side of Kingsmen. It does seem like they are in sight of bringing the core down. Oh, dear Bambi, hook right in. HP down, he goes down. Reminiscent, the next one, he wants to go for Chu, but Electro Final Blow allows him to slide right into the fountain, and that is more than enough for him to stay alive and try to bring down every single one of the minion creep wave that flows from the bottom as well as the top. The game is not over just yet, as much as we thought it would be. Impunity tried their very best to bring Baby down as well as Chu, but because of the fact that Chu stayed alive, they can't end it.
Right now, Impunity SG, although they are having a big league, but it's just 5k gold and it's an Alucard. With an Alucard, if a full team of Kingsmen is all alive, he is unable to siege in so perfectly. They have to wait for the next slot, which is the Luminous slot. If this slot is managed to be taken by Kingsmen, it will buy them a lot of time. Otherwise, if Alucard is able to get that lot, it's gonna make Kingsmen a lot of chance that they will lose this game.
The good thing is Impunity, 12 minutes and 35 seconds in, they have broke through the top lane and the bottom lane. So they do have some insurance there. But not ending the game right here, right now, or rather in the previous fight, could be the biggest mistake that they can make, because they can't force the end onto the core. Kingsman's skilling is pretty darn scary. Nibiru's passion is something that we should look out for. Chu's damage is something we can look out for, but most of the time Chu would probably go for defensive items instead. Bambi damage, Azura X damage.
For me, I think that the crucial for Impunity SG to win is actually that Ruby as well as that Kaja.
With all the setups.
That previous fight on that Ruby, using that I'm Offender, into 4 members.
Like,
that's how they win that fight.
That's how he just kind of huddled everyone together.
Exactly.
That's the main thing. And if you happen to get Reminiscent to use the Fissure Wave, whatever it is, and even the Feathered Airstrike, that is where the members of Kingsmen would just be chunked right down and incinerated.
It's not going to be contested, this lot.
They don't dare.
Yeah.
Kingsmen really could not dare to do it. In fact, they're probably looking at game number 3.
I believe so.
I believe so as well.
Let's
be honest. Yeah. Kingsmen, they've got good skilling, but can they even defend against Impunity SG's lineup at this moment in time? And even with a lot marching down, the chances is relatively slim.
Yeah, because of how Kingsman requires a lot of resource, right? It really not makes any of them like super pain. Only at most probably the Beatrix with that ultimate.
Yeah, Nibiru's Fashion is probably the only one that I can see that have good amount of damage. Electro Final Blow from Chu is very likely the one that zones people out. Forza, yeah, a little bit here and there. Looking to see how Azura X works his way with the Umbrella, as we've got the Lord marching up in the top lane, Mikumi expanding and using his Feather Airstrike. To be honest, feels a little bit early, but it doesn't really matter, because the most important thing is that they would want to bring down the inhibitor turret in the middle lane. That pretty much means that the Sahara Desert is present here for the side of Kingsmen. Where's Ruby? Ruby is still around the place. Takeaway holding himself all around. The amount of damage just gonna be powered up onto Takeaway, but it doesn't matter for him. He's just gonna go straight in for the unstoppable force of the Azura X. He's gonna go straight down. 4 members left on the side of Kingsmen. He's just gonna be forcing the fights around with the Nibiru's Passion, lashing right down onto Kaja. 4-person still alive for the side of Kingsmen, while Impunity has lost 2. Kingsmen, They have gotten the most crucial kill that they wanted onto Takeaway. Takeaway, he realized no retreat. He goes for the unstoppable force. At least he brought one person down with him. But unfortunately, Rum has forced himself into an unstoppable demise. And now Impunity couldn't end the game. I'm not too sure about this. Can they still end this game?
Kingsmen managed to buy some time with that kill on Rum. Rum did use that flicker into Divine Judgment, but unfortunately, because of the Mortal Coil coming alongside from Forza, there isn't any Divine Judgment coming out. So he died before he even used that Divine Judgment, and that buys a lot of time for Kingsmen.
With 100 seconds, the cooldown timer onto the Lord, I would be expecting that Impunity would want to end the game with the Lord, but let's be honest, Kingsmen is not going to let them do that. They will want to force the fight because they are skilling right at this very moment. But if Impunity's members all around, oh dear, Bambi tries to get himself away. He does have the Testament of Blade, or rather, Testpest of Blade. Testament of Blade. Yeah, that's a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
Testament of Blade.
Alright, since that happens, it seems like Kingsman still lives for another day. And the Lord is going to spawn in 65 seconds. I do hope that Impunity SG will not throw this game. They already have this game in the bag, but it really boils down to maybe Link able to steal that Lord away with the retributions due to how mobility he is. And let's see how this Ramadan plays with that.
Yeah, I mean, Reminiscent, we have called the police on Reminiscent before as his thief, as he steals the Lord in yesterday's game. Will we have to call the police department onto Odia Bambi today? I'm not too sure. 30 seconds left onto the Lord. The timer is slowly ticking down. Divine Glaive bought by Mikumi. Forza picks up a Immortality, take away with the Athena Shield. A little bit of items that is just being bought in by some of the members.
Ooh.
But most importantly is Immortality on the Odia Bambi as well.
Yeah, he's just too scared of that Divine Judgment. So, you know what? I need a second life. And here he goes. He does not have a really good stats at this point. He's at 0 kills, 4 deaths, 2 assists. I believe all 4 deaths is contributed by Kaja with that Divine Judgment.
Yeah, they can't give this Lord to Impunity. They really cannot do it. And in fact, they understood and they would want to contest for it. Look at them stampeding all around the wave. We do have Mikumi. They're just going to be holding out the artillery strike. The rest on Impunity is just going to be moving right down onto the side of Kingsman. And we do have Reminiscent getting himself a single kill. Forza goes down, pops the Immortality, tries to get himself away, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like it will be working out for them. Odia Bambi takes down Kaja. 1 down for the side of Impunity, but unfortunately 3 down for the side of Kingsman. But the fight continues. Odia Bambi wants to go for takeaway, but he flees under the nose of Ruby. But the rest of the members for the side of Impunity, they will want to focus down. We have the Electro Thunderbolt. He wants to bring down the fight Ballista. He manages to! He brings down the Alucard, but the rest of the creep slowly marches in through middle lane, and Impunity takes game 2.
Yep, little did I know that Alucard
Collapsed himself onto Impunity SG. And what can Impunity do once Kingsman collapses on them? Well,
Impunity SG for the mid duel with that Jawhead and Loi is going to destroy Kingsman's mid duel with that Kufra and Fasa. They're not going to deal so much damage compared to that Jawhead and Loi.
wow, very confident right
Yeah. And with the early game from Turtle, there will be a Roger coming out with the Lycan Power. So yeah, you know what? I'm supporting Impunity SG now.
Very simple, you know.
Yeah,
very simple.
simple.
But unfortunately, he has already voted 2-0 in favor for Kingsman. Fortunate. I voted 2-0 for Kingsman as well. But you know what? I would love to see the underdogs take this very game away from Kingsman. How is it gonna be? Who is it gonna be? As we introduce Impunity fighting against Kingsmen in this final battle of today's game for themselves. And let us take a look. Impunity SG, we do have Takeaway playing onto the Jawhead. Oh my Roy. Onto the Yuzhong, Mikumi onto Loi, Rum playing as the Chang'e, and Reminiscent playing onto Roger. On the flip side, Kingsman, we do have Chu onto Esmeralda, Jay as the Forza, Odia Bambi playing as the sneaky assassin here, Hayabusa, Forza with that Kufra, and finally Azura Axe with that Xborg.
So when we see the laning phase, it don't seem like there is anything much, but it seems like Esmeralda is going to win against Run with the Chang'e in the early game. And whoa, look at that, they already put J at the bottom, but oh, okay, take away intercepting that Falsa. So nothing is going to happen at this stage. Oh, Ejector is coming out, but you know what, no biggie. Esmeralda is going to just walk away for free. Taking a look at the top side, don't seem that there will be nothing much as well, but Xbox will be the superior in terms of these two matchup until the Azura X accidentally use that last Insanity badly, then that will be a change of game.
We've got a great rotation from the side of Impunity. They've shifted their forces down south, while the middle lane, Miku, will have to fend for himself against the other three from the side of Kingsmen, but take away, he's slowly making himself cucking in between of the river, but unfortunately he does not have the force ejector as it has elapsed, but it doesn't really matter because Reminiscent comes right in and swooped in for the kill onto the side of Odia Bambi, but the fight is not over just yet. Azura faked himself all the way up north. We've got Oh My Roy gotten himself out of danger thanks to the jump from Takeaway. Not really jump, but the force ejector.
Yeah, there's a very good ejector coming alongside from Jawhead. That save right there could have solved that Yizong's life. And at this stage, seems like Infinity SG is trying to force that turtle, which is unable to due to the fact that Yizong does not have that Black Dragon form. Haya, on the other hand, though, from Kingsman's side, can force this turtle. With Osa jumping into Swan.
It does seem like a couple of automates that's going to be connecting Takeaway. It's just working his way around. Oh my Roy, oh my god, what's going on? Impunity has gotten themselves a massive amount of kills right in their belt. A double kill for Reminiscent. And we have a 4-man wipe onto the side of Kingsman. And oh dear, Bambi is going to be the only man alive from the side of Kingsman. Impunity SG's Jawhead plus Roger combination seems to be working out pretty darn well in under 5 minutes.
At least until 3 minutes, they are executed so perfectly with 5-0 with the lead of 2,500 for Impunity SG. They are currently leading. Not to mention that, you know what, even though Odia Bambi managed to get that turtle, but you know what, no biggies, I'm gonna just win that team fight alone.
It is not over until the fat lady sings, as they would all say. So, I am gonna be looking forward to see how Kingsman is going to be bouncing back from this game, or rather bouncing back from that previous engagement, and I'm pretty sure that they will be rather dejected from giving such massive kills over to the side of Impunity and even giving them a total of about 3,000 gold lead.
Oh, Yizong owning the Black Dragon form, but it's not going to do much, but at least it will save a day for him. And as we take a look, it is already 6-0. I think someone died, if I'm not wrong, Forza died with that 0-2-0. And take a look at the mid, Mikumi almost died to Hayabusa's Shadow Kill.
Yeah, not much that he could do at this point in time. Impunity has even put themselves in such a strong front line down in the bottom lane, getting themselves the first turret down, while Kingsman is heavily just pushing down to the top lane as much as they can, as fast as they can. But it doesn't seem like it is going to be working towards their advantage. Okay, pops right out, the better ass strike onto Oh My Roy. We do have Odia Bambi that comes in to sweep in for the kill.
Oh, dispersion!
Doesn't seem like things are going to be working out for the side of Impunity though, or rather the Kingsman side though. The dispersion is just, or rather, oh my god, Odia Bambi! He found himself in such a precarious positioning, being stormed and stampeded by Impunity SG's lineup because of the massive rotation that Mikumi was able to bring out on top of Kingsman. With a total of 6 kill lead, Impunity SG must be really happy with what they have got.
Yeah, but they should not be caught off guard right now since the game is not over and seems like their orange buff is getting compromised by Forza as well as Kufra. It appears to me Kingsman wants to secure that turtle again, but for Impunity SG, they are just trying to, you know what, take away their orange buff and prioritize one of the lanes. Oh!
Doesn't seem like Azura X will be able to accomplish much though. But one thing that will happen is that he will be swiftly taken down by the trios of Impunity SG, but the rest of the members from Kingsmen have successfully brought down bottom lane, as this Yuzong unfortunately will not be able to hold that front well enough. But all in all, alas, it is a 1-for-1 trade typically. 1 kill for 1 tower.
But for Kingsmen's side, they managed to get that turtle. So technically, it will be in favor for Kingsmen with a lot of resource coming alongside from Kingsmen. The goal lead is actually reduced to just 3k?
Yeah, it's not so bad, right? It was previously about 4,000, cutting it short close to 3,000. But Kingsmen, I believe that their power spike, especially for the side of Jay, should be coming quite soon. Not too sure because of the itemizations at this moment in time. 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh, jaw hit!
I'm not too sure if whether Jay would want to stay in there. He did manage to get a really nice flicker away to ensure that takeaway don't get tossed in. Oh my, Roy wants to rush in for it. A little bit of a wasted Black Dragon form, in my opinion. But Kingsmen, they're not gonna let this slide. They understand that Yu Zhong has already used his ultimate.
They're gonna force this.
Join in the fight, and yes, I would agree that they should force this.
Look at 4-star's position. Seems like, conversion is you.
Rotation coming in from behind. Mikumi did manage to land a decent amount of shot round on top of Jay. And that will be 2% down for the Stardust right. X-Men and 3% down. They're all going to be trading blow for blow.
Like
hit for hit. And Ravenessa dive right under the turret's nose to get himself the 4th kill for his team. And just like that, the 3,000 goal leads remain constant. And Impunity SG wiped out quite a number of kills on the side of Kingsmen with Odia Bambi left alive. Again, this slippery assassin is nowhere to be seen and unable to get a constant and firm grasp on.
But as you can see, at that moment, Mikumi actually teleport to the back line of Kingsman and then use that dispersion. Wow! That really puts Kingsman at a very, very tough spot, especially Fasta have not even used that fat ass right at all in the beginning.
Yeah, to be fairly honest, I didn't really quite expect that the rotation would be used by Luo Yi from behind, but it definitely bore some fruit. Just by being alone in the opponent's brushes and just working along with a couple of dispersion plus the diversion to, well, deal a lot of damage from behind the enemy's lines.
Right, and we can see that even though they have been winning a lot of fights from Impunity SG, but the goal lead isn't that big of a difference. Still the 3-0k goal lead. I believe that if Impunity SG Izong on the Black Dragon form is used perfectly, the game would have won by Impunity SG.
Yeah, but Kingsmen, even though the score is not looking too favorable for Kingsmen, but they do have some nice farm to their name, right?
It's A-OK.
Yeah, 3,000 goal lead still is constant. Okay, not neck and neck, but constant, you know. It's not compounding for the side of Impunity. It is not exponential for the side of Impunity. They are just constantly going in the same graph throughout the board, despite Kingsmen losing their man a few times. So pretty much, we can say that Odia Bambi, he's been covering the gaps of when his team died. So we can pretty much say that Odia Bambi probably have a lot of farm onto him, and getting himself that endless battle should be a power spike from now.
Yeah, as we can see, despite getting banned with the Ruby, Oh My Roy is using the Yu Zhong pretty, suffocating. He needs to have that time Black Dragon form. Maybe he could have worked together with Mikumi on his conversion, and when that happens, it will really do well with the positioning from the conversion with the Loi.
I'm not too sure how Impunity would want to force this fight though. I know that they want to force this.
The lot is coming out soon in 18 seconds, so I believe that they will use the lot to fight, although Hayabusa will be a bit more,
Yeah, that is one thing. And I think the Kingsmen would want to go for some split pushes on their own accord too. Since they do have Hayabusa, they can run away, or they can run around pretty fast, but as the jungler, it kind of burns a lot of resources if they just invested in Odia Bambi to just move around the places, right? Instead of fighting the game itself.
Right. And at this stage, we can look that the Lord is taking by the Impunity SG side, but we are unsure whether if Kingsman is going to contest this, but we can see the Foresight is trying to hovering behind, and yep, it's just going to be a pull and pull from Impunity SG.
Impunity holding the ground really well. They just planted the feet into the earth. Well, not really for takeaway, because it's just gonna be running around as Oh My Roy takes flight. He does have the Black Dragon form. The fight is just going to be concentrated right on top of Chu. He's disappeared. He gets himself away though. But we do have the Feather Airstrike just going to be activated from the side of Jay. Well, we do have Chu. Gets himself in. The Stardust dance as well as the Falling Star Moon didn't quite connect down onto the side of Impunity as he slides himself away. But speaking of sliding, Odia Baby could not slide away from Impunity. And that is going to be 2 easy kills for the side of Impunity. And they did not even lose anyone from their arsenal. So they're probably going to be getting this lot pretty done easily. And will probably be able to bring down all 3 of the exterior turrets.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Audio Bambi did actually go back in, and oh, we can see the conversion coming in. Will they be attempting for another kill? No. Right now, for Impunity Edge, they will just be waiting for the next lot to reach, and you know what? They will take all the exterior turrets. I'm not sure if they are able to get the in-hit turrets, but we will see it if Johi is able to get the unstoppable force into the ejector off from Kufra. Otherwise, there won't be any fights right now.
It is tough. It is definitely tough for Kingsmen to fight at this moment in time, right? So since they know that they are under, 5,000 gold lead. In fact, I do want to say that they have lost so many kills. They are unable to kill anyone, and they only got 3 kills for themselves. Having themselves hanging in the balance in 6,000 gold lead is honestly not as bad as I was expecting, to be honest.
Yeah, we have to see whether Oh My Roy on that Yizong is able to use that Black Dragon form to cancel away Jay's Feather Airstrike. And if they are able to execute into that way, it will be a bit worth and able for them to have the courage to go for the dive. Otherwise, I don't see any point of Infinity Edge to go in without the initiator from Joy as well as the Yizong.
The underdog is taking this game at this moment in time. 14-3 with a 6,000 or rather 7,000 gold lead. Who would have thought that Impunity would literally put Kingsmen on a leash, dragging them around and unable to do anything. Kingsmen have got takeaway right on the back.
Dragon form.
Not looking good though. They didn't even deal much damage on that takeaway, but they are trying to focus a bit onto Oh My Roy. In fact, they decided to run away. They didn't pour in every single one of their resources. They didn't collapse themselves onto either takeaway nor Oh My Roy. They kind of seem like they don't want to invest so much on these 2 heroes.
But Yizong and Johi managed to force the J to use the Flicker. That is actually a very good usage for Impunity SG. So the next engage coming alongside for takeaway, all he need to do is just to use the unstoppable force onto that Fasa and then eject Fasa off. That's it.
Oh, that's a confirm connect.
Yes.
100% confirm connect. Unless Forza just bounces himself right on top of Jawhead, which is quite... It's a tall order.
It's not gonna be easy for Forza to do that. And if I'm not wrong, Forza will more likely to try to get a catch onto either the Chang'e, Loi, or that Roger will be flying. Look at Roger, he's now at 608.
Divergent.
Oh.
Jumps himself right behind. They want to go for the kill on Forza. They manages to do right that. Every single one of the members from the side of Impunity, they have most of their HP down to an all-time low. Take away. He pops himself out of the equation against Kingsmen. They try to do their absolute best to bring down every single member from the side of Kingsmen. But all in all, they brought down 2 while they lost 1. It's not that horrible. Let's be honest, it's not that bad of a collusion, but it still kind of worked out. We are looking at about 6,000 gold lead. It is still constant.
But the lot is coming out in 20 seconds. For the side of Impunity Edge, they will still have a slight advantage because, you know what, Yizong has already upped his Black Dragon form. So for Kingsman's side, what they need to do is to force Oh My Roy to use the Black Dragon form and then push back off and wait until the Black Dragon form is used, then come back in.
Stuff, right? The Lord is now spawned. Reminiscent picked up the Blade of Despair. We've got Impunity holding the front line. They does have the map control. What will it be for long though? Because Azura X He is gonna be working out in the last insanity. Jade is gonna be popping out as well.
Oh,
But oh my
Bambi.
Roy, he's chasing all the way to the back lines. But he's gonna be finding himself right on top of Azura X. For the both of the battles just going to be split into two. Take away and Reminiscent will be fighting against two as well as the airborne target. Oh dear Bambi, everyone is gonna be focusing their blast right on top of them, collapsing the on top of them. Oh my Roy, the last man remaining, being pummeled in by 4 members as he moved himself right on top of Jay. The wings by wings gets himself away from the vicinity of Oh my Roy. He survived for so long, but in the end, it didn't really even matter because Impunity with Reminiscent left alone. He's trying to get himself right out of the way from Kingsmen. Most of them with such a sliver amount of health. None of them is gonna go down at all. And Kingsmen literally took all members from Impunity down by the skin of their teeth.
That was a pitiful by Impunity SG, though Kingsman played very well on how the Bambi manages to stick away from all the way to, the Chunga's back. That's how they managed to get away. Let's take a look at the quick hydrations from H2O and take a look at where Bambi is.
They didn't even have the last insanity for that fight, but unfortunately we cannot complete the highlight reel because it does seem like Impunity SG, they want to counter, they want to challenge for this slot. Bottom lane has been pushed all the way with no force at all. Look at the prediction, guys. 2-0 all the way except for Fiji with a 2-1. Will this be what the prediction really means? Is it really gonna be a 2-1 for Kingsmen, or will Impunity pull off the biggest upset onto Kingsmen by taking this game for themselves?
Yes, we know Impunity SG is the king of upset. They are currently the dark horse right now. And Lord Esports is going to head towards the bottom lane. It's going to be a Luminous slot. You know what? The goal lead don't matter anymore.
They're all maxed out.
They came back from the disadvantage.
They came back from the abyss.
Well. Now, as we know, a lot of the immortality has been used due to the previous fight, but we still can see, the export as well as the Jawhead still has that immortality. So I guess it don't really matter at this stage, and it could be the last fight for.
As beads of sweat now slowly trickling down from the members of Impunity. They have the members of Kingsmen knocking onto their front door, shouting, FBI open up! And it doesn't seem like Impunity will want to open up this door at all because they want to challenge for this turret here in the middle lane. A really nice force ejector around the top of Chu. He's trying to get himself out right there, but unfortunately he will not escape from the grasp of Reminiscent as Oh my Roy pops himself right into the Black Dragon form while flying all around the heads of Kingsmen. But it doesn't seem like things are going to be working out for him because Odin Baby talked him down. Jay is going to be taken down as well. The fight is just going to be split all up into two. Odin Baby tries to get himself away, but unfortunately he will be abandoning Azura X as he pops up the immortality.
Look at Haya!
The Firaga armor is just going to be holding.
Look at Haya!
We've got Hayabusa. He decides to run away. He pushes down the bottom lane. Oh no!
Victory!
Kingsmen!